we ended up on the 144, which was, we lucked out, it was late because I thought we had a 20-minute wait, but if you do end up at the Spit junction, which is in Osman, it's the 144 that will get you to the Spit Bridge. And I gotta say, public transport's a good idea because the traffic's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So we're off the 144, probably maybe allow 45 minutes, but anyway, it comes up on Google super easily. You go Wynyard to the Spit to Manly walk. And the walk itself, the very start's not quite clear, but we're going under the Spit Bridge on the northern side. And we reckon it's about a 2.5 hour walk to Manly.
10 minutes. 10 kilometre walk.
10 minutes, Jeff's gonna run. Honestly, just a couple of 100 meters into this walk, where is he? There's Jeff. It's hard to imagine that you're still in Sydney, arguably Australia's global city, because you're surrounded by this not rainforest, but the tree coverage and shade is beautiful, and the water and the inlets are amazing. And yeah, this is the start of the walk. The first little bay you get to is Sandy Bay. It's an off-leash dog park. So there's lots of little families and kids and dogs and stuff. But we just saw, what were they? Water monitors?
Water monitors.
Little, those lizards. And yeah, scared the bejesus out of us. I'm sure they would just run away. They wouldn't hurt anybody. But Jeff tells me, you'll have to Google this, that apparently by folklore, their nails are so dirty that they're poisonous.
Don't quote me on
Hashtag fact check. So, hopefully this is good. We've just got some coffee at, well, how do we fit into the screen together?
Yeah.
We just got some coffee at Clontarf, and I asked the woman, how are you doing today? And she goes, not great. But it is swarming. Obviously on a warm January day in Sydney, Clontarf is hugely popular with families, and there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people at this beach.
Yeah.
I mean, they're happy. We're beyond the halfway mark, maybe 2/3 of the way. And you come out of shaded tall gums and ferns, and then you come into more of an open, low scrubland. But it's really beautiful because that's when you start to see the harbour. And again, at about the 2/3 point, you can then see Manly, but it's a little bit deceptive because although you can see Manly, you've still got another third to go. So we'll send some pictures of it. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it. I mean, there was some video I shared earlier, but the lizards, water monitors, they're everywhere. If I just get in here and maybe turn my camera around and get a little bit closer. That's about the 4th lizard we've seen today. I have to confess to being slightly distracted on this walk because there are so many barky gums and trees that are perfect for cicada shells. And Jeff, all the way from Canada, has never seen a cicada shell. And as kids, we would find the cicada shell and we would use them as badges. Well, look what I just found. Hang on. And lo and behold, after walking and looking for like forever, is it going to focus? There is a cicada shell. So, Jeff wasn't wearing a t-shirt. Jeff's not wearing anything. Jeff, he's feeling the hot summer sun. So I'm demonstrating what we did as kids with cicada badges. You'll know you're in the last 15 minutes or so, or maybe the last 20 minutes or so of the walk, when you get to, again, another really tree-covered part of the track, but it's council parking. And you've got the water to the right-hand side, and to the left, you've got some of Sydney's most sought after real estate. So it can be a little distracting, but interesting.
Interesting.
All the same.
Very.
So Jeff's going to take pictures of it, I think. We're not very far away from Manly, so our next clip, oh, look at this. Oh, babe. Our next clip will be from Manly itself. Just when you least expect it, you get to the end of the walk, you'll be able to see the Manly Ferry and the Manly Wharf just across the water. We're about to hit one of the Manly beaches, there's 2 or 3 of them, and a cafe with some kind of chill vibes. Chill music happening.
Jeff and John are very hungry.
Very hungry. So we're not quite done.
Not yet.
Got any ideas for food?
Betty.
Maybe
Betty's Burgers.
Betty's Burgers is easy. So
Not sponsored. Not sponsored.
All right, so Betty Burgers is next, and that brings us to the end of the walk. We might put a little bit of Betty's, maybe.
A little bit of Betty's.
And then the ferry back.
Yeah.
Because that's how we're getting back to Sydney, on this ferry. A word about Betty's Burgers. It is an Australian burger company, so you'll find Betty's Burgers in most of the major tourist destinations like King's Cross and Circular Quay and here in Manly. And the burgers are amazing. The bread's really sweet, the meat's really well flavoured. It's a little chaotic here. The Manly Ferry and that crazy crowd to get on the Manly Ferry is probably the last part of the spit to...
Sorry.
That's all right. The last part of the spit to Manly walk. Almost a tradition on a hot Sydney day to queue up with hundreds of other people. Slight exaggeration. There's always a big queue from the singing up ice cream.
Like, close to 100.
There's always a big queue. So, and the queues move, so that's okay. What did you get?
Peanut butter Florentine, which is the peanut butter gelato with peanut butter brittle, and a Bounty bar, so coconut chocolate.
Similar theme, lychee and coconut, which is really sweet, and then hazelnut of some kind. There's no need to subscribe, there's no need to click follow, because none of that exists. This is probably the messiest bit of content you can imagine. But everyone's got to start somewhere, babe.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
There'll be more. Woo! Now we're licking.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ice cream.